Okay, this is about a 15-pound brisket. I'm going to show you start to finish on how to trim and season this. First thing you want is a good sharp knife, and I keep my knife sharp, and then right before I start working with them, I'll run it over this honing stone a little bit. You always take these right out of the refrigerator and start on them. I like to start on my fat side, and I'm going to cut this off anyway, so that's where I poke my hole to get the bag open, and if I get any cut in the meat, chances are I'm cutting it off anyway. So I'm sitting here right beside my sink to where I can cut this bag open and just try to drag the bag and all the blood and everything. I've never done one of these videos where this phone's hanging off my neck. I hope that it does okay. And there'll be a lot of this that I don't talk through because you don't need me telling you, okay, I'm cutting here, I'm cutting there. You'll be able to see it. And just pull that down, drop it in the sink there. That's why I try to stay over here close to the sink. Everything's been washed down, bleached, and it's all good. This is about a 15-pounder. See, fresh out of the bag. I got a hair growing there. That's why you want to do all this prep. I open up the bag first, and I take a paper towel, go over the whole brisket, kind of wipe it down, check for anything that looks weird. And this one isn't too butchered up. Sometimes you get some crazy cuts that you gotta cut a big chunk off your brisket. But I do a real aggressive trim. And then usually the first thing I take off is this mohawk piece that sticks up. You got the point is the tall piece, and it overlaps the flat in here somewhere. But I take this mohawk off, and then I save all my trimmings go into a pan. I'm trimming up 4 briskets today, and all of the fat that I'm cutting off of here is going into that pan, and I'll smoke it the same time that I smoke my brisket. And then whenever I get ready to wrap, see, that's good meat right there, but it's just not, it don't belong there, it comes off. So each one of those goes into a pan as I'm cutting. And just kind of get familiar with what you're working with to start with. And then once I cut that mohawk off, I kind of try to flatten it down, and then I'll make a cut all the way down the side, because this is all fat, see? I'll come in here and just, see, I can see new meat there. So now I know that all the way down that side, and by doing that I'll be able to see how thick that fat goes. You just kind of feel your way through here. And like I say, I don't know how good of a video this is going to be because I've never done this before. But I think it'd be interesting to be able to see a perspective like you're actually doing it. And one thing about it, if you're watching this video and you ain't enjoying it, all you gotta do is turn it off. No need to make a bunch of mean comments. Tell me how dumb I am. I'm just trying to help somebody. So if somebody gets a little help out of this, then mission accomplished. All right, here we go. You can see this meat here is like, it got like air on it, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just ugly. And I always try to cut that off. It's not that much, and then I've got good fresh meat there that's taking on smoke. We want all that fat off of there. Like 1/4 of an inch, and as you're coming down through here, see, you can see this is still way too much fat. And if you happen to cut into the meat, see, that's too much. You want to leave a little layer of fat, but now you know that that's getting close to the meat, so just come up out of there a little bit. You just kind of carve away at it. You can take and bend it up in the middle here, and as you bend it up, it kind of bows, and you can cut that section off and not cut into this other. See, too deep. You don't want to do that, but if you do it, it's not the end of the world. See how deep I am there? And I'm still not down to the meat. And look at this pile of meat I'm already getting. See all that fat? That's all coming off that one brisket. Just kind of slice away at it. And you start seeing meat. Oop, back off. Deep enough. And you're really just trying to get it kind of rounded. You don't want sharp corners. Everything's just kind of smooth and round. And I try to leave a little fat on the top. I always cook my briskets fat side up. Go and just kind of raise it up, and you can see that I'm getting close to that meat. I'm just curl that knife up a little bit and come out of it. Cock this back a little bit. That's a little better. Can't hardly see the picture on my phone because it's so close to my face. do these a couple of times, I'll get better POV, point of view videos. It's just like you're actually there, but you don't have to get out of the chair. I'm doing all the work, and you get to just kind of watch and have fun. I always do the fat side first when I take it out of the refrigerator, because this fat cuts easier when it's cold. As soon as it starts warming up, it's just kind of like slime or something that just don't want to trim off there. So I do the fat side first, and then the other side comes pretty easy. Big old pocket full of fat right there. You can go completely crazy with it, or you can just cut it to where it's making sense and then pick it out later. And I kind of just draw a line to where I end up with a good rounded edge down here on this bottom. Just kind of line up both sides. You don't want any like this point, see, and anything that's thinner, like thinner than your thumb, it's going to burn up in that 12-hour cook. So I just come and make me a nice little corner. And still same thing, just kind of pressing it down. See how I'm not taking a whole bunch. And it's a big chunk of meat, and it's hard to throw all that away, but it'll make all the difference in the way this brisket cooks. And I like showing pride in my work. I like to do the best I can do at whatever I'm doing. May not make a bit of difference. And I'm sure some of you guys that are watching this are saying, this guy's cutting away that whole brisket. He's an idiot. Well, you get to do yours the way you want, and I get to do mine the way I do it. That's the beauty of this. If you don't like it, all you gotta do is turn the TV off. Turn the video off. But as I said, I'm just trying to help somebody. And this may not help you, but somebody that don't know as much as you may really appreciate it. And I'd appreciate it if you like this video, share it and like it and all that stuff that everybody always tells you to do. Shake this end up a little bit, and we'll be just about ready to flip her over. And you can take forever. I mean, you could sit here and pick this to death, but when you got a bunch of them to do, you kind of find happy mediums. If you were trying to do this perfectly for a competition or whatever, you'd take a little more time. But I'm gonna cook this, and then I'm making chopped brisket, so a lot of this stuff, when I go to cut it, I'll get rid of it then. But even that, I don't want nobody getting a big old mouthful of fat. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, this is the meat side. Fat side, meat side. You always got a big chunk of gunk there, and all this old dried out meat. So just go ahead and take a little slice down through there. If you start cutting this, you can kind of take your fingers and pull it back, and it'll pull that big chunk of fat out of there. And you can't just dig a big hole there. So get as much as you can, and know that you can, if you have a problem later, you can still get it before you serve it to anybody. This side here's the one that you can take your finger and push up on that brisket. Just kind of put your hand underneath it and see how it's flat now, but I can raise it up and then just go across. And this side, I don't try to leave any fat on it. You don't have to get it all off, but that rub sticks a lot better. Well, that's a pretty wonky looking brisket. But every one of these is different. The next one may not have any big chunks out of it at all. If you do very much brisket, you'll find one that looks just exactly like this. Big. You gotta take and cut all that stuff out. But for the most part, it's pretty rounded. And what that rounding does is let everything just kind of flow. All the heat and the smoke flows around it evenly. And don't get clogged up on a big bump. See that right there? See, that's a, you don't want that. See how jaggly all this is? Yeah, I'm cutting away money. But see how smooth that's changing. And everything's going to just flow around that. It's hard enough to get one of these right without trying, or with trying. You try your best and you still got stuff that's not going to be just right. But at some point you have to say, okay, enough is enough. And that's one brisket worth of trimmings. Crazy. But I think that'll all cook good. Now see, there's another piece of that whole meat that I just don't like. Probably nothing wrong with it. I just don't like it. That had quite a divider of fat. See, that's where your point and flat, that runner of fat right there is laying between these two muscles. This is the flat. See how the grain's going like this? And this divider right here, this big chunk, is the point. I think I must have picked the ugliest brisket that I've trimmed in a while to do this video. But you can't just throw it away. You look through them when you're buying them, try to find you one that looks good, but you don't ever know till you open it up and get started. Okay, now we're going to move over here to the seasoning spot. And then I season these all, I trim them and season them the night before I cook them. Okay, so we're going to start with the fat side down in the pan. And then I take my glove off because my hands are clean. And I still have my patting hand here that I'm gonna, and this is just salt, pepper, and garlic in this bowl. Garlic salt. And I do half pepper, quarter salt, and quarter garlic salt. And then I'll do it with my hands. Now this stuff gets in your throat pretty quick. I do it with my hands because I can mix it up and keep it consistent. You do it out of a shaker, these things weigh different amounts and it'll all settle differently. But I'll get me a handful. And that's good coverage. Go all around, take your glove hand and pat it in. Flip it up a little bit. And then I don't touch this hand to the meat and then put it back in here. So nothing's been in that seasoning to get it wet or contaminated. Flip it over. And this is the side that I'm going up with when I cook it. So I want it to be the second side to where when I move this around or whatever, this all stays intact. And then when I put it on the smoker tomorrow, I'll touch up any spots that I knock off, but try to season the meat side first, fat side second, and then it just sits in the refrigerator overnight. It'll soak all this stuff in. Plus all this, this is taking, this video's 30 minutes for this one brisket. I got 3 more to go. And I don't have to do all this in the morning. I'll come in the morning and start my fire. And you notice I didn't put any kind of binder or anything on this. This all sticks to that brisket just fine without anything. And it's just another step. If you don't have to do it, I don't understand why everybody does, but I don't. Once again, that's the way I do it. You don't have to do it this way. This is the way I do it. You kind of just take your sides and push it in where all that stuff fell off around in the pan. Some of it's falling off, but other stuff is falling where it's getting on that where it wasn't. Just kind of dig around the pan. Now I'm back fat side up. And at this point it's seasoned and it's laying flat the way I want it to look tomorrow morning. And I'll take my other glove off. We'll wrap this in aluminum foil. Voila, that goes in the refrigerator now.